It all starts with a secret flight. A cargo plane secretly chartered by the FBI has been infiltrated by a Mafia member named Austin. Austin was directly ordered by his boss to take back the seized money, worth $25 million. Unfortunately, Austin's attempt is stopped by an FBI agent named Howell.
The flight plan, as I said before. You come out in the next 5 seconds, they both go home alive. Wait!
Drop your weapons and give up.
From here, the scene shifts to introduce us to a lumberjack named Walker. Every day, Walker cuts down a lot of trees to meet the needs of major companies in the industry. During his work, his co-worker Billy approaches him and invites him out for a drink. Since Walker secretly has feelings for Billy, he agrees to go to the bar and keep her company.
Go to the bar tonight, Will? And you can't break tradition.
I get it. It's good for the soul.
I forget what falls on opening day.
From here, we briefly shift to a mercenary boss named Darby. Darby is contacted by a Mafia boss named Henry. For context, Henry is Austin's boss who assigned him to retrieve the money seized by the FBI. Henry says Austin hasn't given him any updates for 24 hours. Based on the tracker attached to his body, Austin was last seen stopping in a forest not far from the city. Henry then asks Darby to find Austin and promises to split the money previously seized by the FBI evenly.
So many times I gotta tell you, collect goddamn answers.
Celebrated in this shithole of a town like it's a good.
Seeing that? They're 50 miles north. I'll use who I please on these jobs. You'd better get this fucking done. The money is there.
As promised, that night Walker goes to a bar with Billy. Billy didn't invite Walker out for a drink without a reason. She wants to discuss hunting plans for when summer arrives. As it happens, they both share the same hobby. That's why Billy wants to invite Walker to hunt together in the southern part of the forest. Unfortunately, Walker is already tired of hunting in that area and wants a different experience. Walker apologizes for not being able to join Billy this time because he wants to hunt somewhere else.
Glad you could make it.
Not one to miss tradition.
What time are you leaving in the morning?
Good. You know, day by day.
Our cell phones won't work out there.
As he leaves the bar, Walker accidentally crosses paths with Darby, who is enjoying the quiet night. Since they don't know each other, they simply exchange a casual greeting. Walker also asks Darby for one of his cigarettes, which seems to be a new brand. Neither of them realizes that they will cross paths again later because of a major problem.
There's not really much else to do.
Big business in a place like this, I guess.
Thanks for the smoke.
The next day, when hunting season begins, Walker arrives at the northern side of the forest, where he works. But before starting his activities, Walker first prepares some firewood and cooks a simple breakfast to fill his stomach. At the same time, Darby arrives at the southern part of the forest disguised as a hunter. However, seeing that the weapons they're carrying look more like military weapons, the guards there refuse to open the gate.
I need you to open up that gate.
These don't look like you're dressed for hunting.
Meanwhile, Howell visits the forest police station and meets an officer named Ramos. Howell explains that yesterday he killed a Mafia member who then fell from a plane, already dead. According to Howell, the Mafia member he killed is believed to have fallen in the forest guarded by Ramos. Because of that, Howell asks Ramos to help him find the body. On top of that, the body is carrying the seized money that the FBI will use as evidence to put the Mafia members in prison.
Now, Agent Howell.
Aerial reconnaissance, heat scans, but the
Middle of the woods.
Exactly.
And money is very rarely found.
A series of robberies over the course of the past.
Back to Walker, who has just started hunting and finds a deer. However, just before he shoots, his attention is drawn to several bills scattered around him. From there, Walker decides to look around and eventually finds Austin's body. Seeing a stranger's body in the middle of the forest, especially one carrying a bag full of money, Walker sees it as a stroke of luck. Without wasting any time, Walker quickly gathers all the money there and takes it somewhere safer. Walker finally reaches his car in the parking lot and is about to leave. But shortly after, Darby suddenly appears and immediately blocks Walker's path with all of his men. Realizing that Walker seems to have found Austin's money, Darby tries to negotiate with him. Walker will be allowed to stay alive as long as all the money in Austin's bag is returned. Hearing the offer, Walker, who has been living in poverty for a long time, immediately refuses and chooses to fight.
Now you have no way out.
It turns out Walker is a pretty smart lumberjack. Walker realizes that there's no way he can beat Darby, so he decides to create a distraction and immediately escape from there. Meanwhile, Darby is contacted by Henry, who asks about the progress of his mission. Darby honestly says that he has found the C's money. The problem is, the money is now in the hands of a very troublesome lumberjack. Hearing that, Henry immediately gets angry at Darby and tells him to chase the man in question.
And that's your fucking whiskey. Mr. Blake, don't ever
Am I sensing a threatening tone, old man?
And no mistakes.
After an hour of searching through the forest, Darby's men finally find Walker, who is resting at the time. Without thinking twice, they immediately attack him. Darby had previously told them that they could do anything as long as they managed to take back the stolen money, including killing Walker. Luckily, Walker still manages to survive and takes out Darby's men one by one. However, he pays a heavy price for it because his abdomen is now seriously injured. Worried that his condition will get worse, Walker decides to head toward the southern part of the forest, knowing that Billy is currently hunting there. When Walker wakes up from being unconscious, his condition has improved quite a bit. Billy turns out to have arrived right away and immediately treats him. However, Billy has a lot of questions on her mind. She immediately asks what actually happened and why Walker is suddenly injured while carrying a large amount of money. Walker then explains that he just got lucky after finding a body that seemed to have fallen from a great height along with some money. With the money, Walker wants to quit being a lumberjack and start a new life. As it happens, Walker also has feelings for Billy. So, Walker reveals that he wants to marry Billy and start a new life together with the money he found. Hearing that, Billy is about to give him an answer, but she ends up being killed when Darby suddenly appears and attacks them. For the umpteenth time, Walker is forced to run because he can't take on Darby. At the same time, Walker starts wondering how the soldiers keep finding his location. Curious, Walker checks the contents of the bag full of money and manages to find a tracking device. From there, the clever Walker immediately thinks of setting a trap and ending all of this. Thinking about it, with his body already injured, Walker can't keep running forever. So this time, Walker chooses to stand his ground and fight back. First, Walker sets a trap by putting together a bomb using simple materials. After that, Walker puts the GPS device inside one of the bags along with the bomb he made. Once everything is ready, Walker takes the bag to an open area. At the same time, Walker hides on high ground while waiting for the soldiers to arrive. As planned, the soldiers walk into the trap, and Walker manages to kill one of Darby's men, who checks the contents of the bag.
What is this shit?
I'm gonna kill you!
Unfortunately, Darby himself still manages to survive and only suffers an injury to his hand. From there, the two exchange gunfire until they both run out of ammunition. fight finally stops when 3 hunters suddenly appear and break them up. Darby, not wanting to drag things out any longer, chooses to escape while carrying the bag that Walker had previously stolen. Meanwhile, Walker, who is badly injured, immediately passes out and is taken to the hospital. After reaching the edge of the forest, Darby accidentally crosses paths with one of the hunters, who offers him a ride. However, instead of accepting the offer, Darby kills a hunter to steal his car. Once inside the car, Darby checks the contents of the bag he managed to take. Darby is in shock to find that the bag only contains chunks of rock. From there, Darby realizes that Walker has apparently been playing him from the beginning. Meanwhile, Walker finally wakes up from being unconscious and is now in a clinic. This time, Walker isn't alone because Howell is watching over him and is still trying to find the money. When the nurse confirms that Walker is in good enough condition to be interrogated, Howell asks him what happened. Howell wants to know why Walker was being hunted by soldiers who were known to have been hired by a Mafia boss. Howell emphasizes that Walker needs to tell the truth, especially about the money, because Howell knows Walker wouldn't be hunted like this without a reason. Hearing the question, Walker admits that he did find a body with money scattered around it. However, when Walker intended to hand the money over to the police station, 3 mercenaries suddenly appeared, one of them named Darby. Walker says that he got into a fight with them and managed to take out 2 of them. But Darby managed to escape and eventually took all the things Walker had previously found. Here, we learn that Walker's statement is actually just a lie because he secretly wants to keep the money he found. Luckily, Walker's false statement is soon validated by Ramos. Ramos says that the hunters who previously took Walker also stated that Darby had taken off with the money. After finishing the interrogation, Howell stands guard outside the room. Meanwhile, Ramos plans to step out for a moment to buy some coffee. But just as he is about to leave, Darby suddenly appears and launches an attack. Ramos dies on the spot, while Howell struggles to survive Darby's brutal attack. After managing to incapacitate Howell, Darby deliberately doesn't kill him and leaves the FBI agent to slowly bleed to death. From there, Darby heads straight to Walker's room and fires several shots.
Only one of us is gonna leave him.
Luckily, the clever Walker had already predicted that this would happen, until suddenly, Howell, who is slowly running out of strength after being left there, uses what little strength he has left to take down Darby. His belief that Walker is innocent and was only a victim of the Mafia keeps him on his feet to defend Walker. From there, Walker tries to contact a local hospital so they can come and help Howell, who can actually still be saved. 6 months later, while Walker is visiting Billy's grave, Howell suddenly approaches him. The agent thanks him repeatedly because thanks to Walker, the injuries he previously suffered were successfully treated by the medical team. Howell also offers his condolences for Billy's death because Howell only recently learned that Walker had feelings for Billy.
But he had a reason.
Yeah, he was pretty pissed off.
On the surface, yes you do.
1 month later, Walker, who has just quit his job as a lumberjack, decides to return to the forest to look for something. It turns out Walker had secretly hidden the money he found earlier before replacing it with chunks of rock. After quitting his job as a lumberjack, Walker apparently wants to run for mayor, then become president using the stolen money he still has hidden. The end. The movie finally comes to an end.